Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to World of Tanks, and it is moi and my Panther on my EU account. This is basically a stock Panther, minus the turret. So I put the turret on there. I don't even know if I had full equipment in this, but I am carrying gold now, so I've got 4 rounds. That's what I've allowed myself. Try to keep the costs down on the free-to-play-ish account. Loaded in here to Live Oaks, and we're going to talk about end game kind of stuff. How do you get to it? What are you looking to do end game? Because as people get better in the game, they start to last longer and they get to the end game. And a lot of times I see people fall down at that point because they don't really know what to do, what to prioritize, what it is they're trying to do at the end game, other than obviously win and destroy the other tanks. So this one has a bit of a chess game going on at the end of it that we'll take a look at. But initially it looks like a pretty standard Live Oaks battle. We're going to have a decent push down here, going after these guys. So we'll push in here. We can see the 50-2 has gone around to do some spotting over there. We've got a 30-45. We'll just take a shot on the run. Let's go to T-25, and I'm wondering, we do have an artillery to contend with in the M44. I'm kind of wondering, all right, am I going to be able to push into this middle bit and take these guys down? But right now my team doesn't look like they're very interested in that, so we're just going to kind of sit here for a minute. And unfortunately, when I made my bid to come up here, these two made a bid to go around, and I really wish I had been with them because I don't want to go up over the top, so I had to turn around. The Panther is not really the most agile medium tank, and I'm going to try to come around here and not get too exposed, although I do get hit by the 64, and I get hit twice more, so I take quite a bit of damage in here. I'll fix the ammo rack, and we get guys hit, and down goes the T-25 that was over there. We lose a guy because there's going to be campers along this edge up here, so we don't want to go out through the south part of that hole. We take down the FL-10, and it's looking like a pretty good situation on this flank. The city looks okay for the moment, so let's just hit this right now, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here is we're going to win this flank, and then guys are going to push. And it's something that I've been trying to get people to stop for a long, long time now, is when you win your flank and there's something bad going on somewhere else, don't push. Also, don't push into their campers. This is a well-known situation for the Northeast Cap to send some guys down here, and if they lose, to fall back into these bushes, and they have a great line of fire. And all they need is a few spotters right here. So when you win this flank, if they're still strong enough to be holding this northeast corner, don't push into it. Which is pretty much exactly what we're going to get. I get hit by the Arty. This guy, we both have depression problems. It's a little depressing for both of us. I don't want to just drive in there and take hits from the 34-85, so we'll back out. I'm trying to get some help here, potentially. We did defeat them, so here comes everybody. Now they're coming up behind him. Alright, that's good. Now it's time to go get rid of this guy. Little auto-aim action. That's a miss. Go for a ram or a shot or something to get rid of this guy. There we go. So a little ram kill. That'll work. I'm hoping not to get hit by the Arty. Alright, so this is looking good, right? We've got them 6-3, but look at the town. The town is in bad shape. That's not good. The Tiger P is dead. There's only a couple TDs there. I don't expect the 37 and the Tiger and the 34-100 to last very long. And if everyone here had gone back, would have been a great situation for us. Or maybe even just be careful about potentially fighting some guys, because I think there's a Dicker Max that's sort of overextended right there, and we might be able to get rid of him, potentially the Su-100. But what's going to happen is these guys are all going to try to push. And there's absolutely no reason to push into their campers over there. Especially now. We just lost our 178. We lost the T-37. That was into town. It's time to go back. So I'm trying to convince everybody to head back. I say go back. And it looks like the FL-10 is doing so. But one of the 30-45s pushes in. And he will not be long for this world. It is a bit of a drive. People don't like doing this. They don't like to go back because I'm slow or I can't make it, or you know, my tank doesn't want to. Whatever the damn reasons are that people don't go back. But in order to win the game, and you know, when I started talking about this match, I said we're going to look at late game decisions. We're in the mid to late game, even though we're only 4 minutes into it. We've got half the tanks are gone. This is the mid to late game part where good decision making is going to determine whether you can win a close game. This is pretty close right now. We lose the Tiger 1, so it's even closer. So what you do here is going to change you from a 50 to a 55% win rate player or more. Right? If you just continue pushing the cap, the enemy cap, then you're going to stay at whatever percentage you're at. You're not going to get any better if that's all you do. If you're not able to look at this and objectively, critically look at the match and go, all right, I don't need to be pushing into the enemy cap because what's the point? Probably a tank or two of theirs is going to go back. There's already some TDs camping back in there. There's no way to push without losing hit points. And look at them. They're all just going. Only the 30-45 came back with me. This guy right here. He's the only guy who came back with me. So I was sort of expecting maybe the T50-2 to come out into the open, but he did not. These guys are trying to take on the AT-15A. Unfortunately, I can't see him because I got some stuff between us. There we go. Now I can finally see him. I've used my gold, but he dies. That's good. And then we've got the 50-2, who I'm having a really rough time hitting. I just simply cannot make it happen here. Not enough lead fire. I'm also zoomed in a little bit too more, so if I was a little more careful or better. I am fighting a 150, 160 ping and some packet loss, but wow, a lot of people do fine with that. It just simply makes it more difficult for me to hit those long-range moving shots like that. So a little struggle there. Good news for me is this is a relatively accurate tank, so I should be able to do better than that, and I didn't, unfortunately. So Tiger P is kind of making the same mistake. He's got a problem at his cap, and he's sort of pushing in, which you count on, right? 3485M and me, we came back because we sort of expected this to happen. You take advantage of the enemy doing the wrong thing as well. That got me spotted, and I'm just hoping I can get down into cover before I take a hit, which I do, and that works out nicely. Come over here. We really would like to get rid of the T50-2. He is a big problem in this match. He's probably the biggest advantage they have, plus the Type 64. We have our Type 64 who's running around in the backfield doing I don't know what. Imagine if we'd have had that guy back here with us. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if he'd have come back and helped us light guys and do the scout things instead of just sitting back here attempting to push into a cap that's well defended. So this guy does not clear. We have a KB3 and a Tiger P, and that is a lot of beef for a Panther and a 30-45M to try to take care of. There's their Type 64. This ARL does some good work. He's on 71 hit points, and he's been hanging out right here. One thing the Type 64 of ours did do for us was get rid of the Artie, so that was definitely a help. I really would have liked if he'd have just bailed out of that situation, because there's no support other than potentially Artie for getting rid of that Su-100 right there. So I'm just going to hang out here. I think the ARL wants me to push forward, but there is no way I'm moving across that open space with the T50-2, the Tiger P, and the KB3. There we go. So eventually they move in. ARL's doing his best not to die. Like I said, he does a pretty good job in this game. Just trying to find that little pixel. There's the packet and the ping thing kind of. You can see how it gets a little ratchety right there. I'm just going to try to hit the side of the turret. A bounce and a miss. That's a bummer. A hit, but doesn't pin. Another bounce. If you can give me a little shot. There we go. So there we go. I just have to hit the right position, the right spot on that turret to kill him. Unfortunately, I don't kill him, but they do. So the ARL does a nice job taking out the Tiger P. Now we've got to sort out the KB3, but the KB3 has gone back. Remember I mentioned that. Probably one of those guys went back. So further on into the end game of the match, here's the chess match piece. You finally get to this spot because you're able to maintain your vote and your position. And you look at this, go, now how do I deal with this? Well, the first thing we'd like to do is get rid of the scouts. That doesn't mean we YOLO in and go after them. We also have to be very careful right now about moving around in the open because there are two scouts that can see us, and that's a problem. So they have a bit of an advantage as far as eyes go. We have an advantage in numbers plus the Artie is a bit of the X factor. Now you'll notice the 3485M and myself are going back to the tracks. We ignored that for a while, and it was covered by our light tank kind of wandering around back there keeping them busy, but you'll notice the KB3 went that way. And they'll probably have figured that there's really not much back there. They can count, most of them anyway, about as well as we can. So they're probably coming down the tracks right now. The Hummel, I wish he would have come up and back up into the flat because he actually sits there on this back slope. I think he's worried, and he may have got lit. I don't know. We're about to find out. what's going on over here. And he may have been lit, so maybe he felt like he couldn't come up that hill, but he's just not in a position to help. And already on a back slope like that is doing nobody any good. So we'll go ahead and push down in here. And this is the chess game part from here, right? We've positioned B in the 3045M, and we've just got to try to see what we can see. There's no enemy already, that's a good thing. But I really want to avoid a big thump by either the Su-100 or the KV-3. So we'll come around this corner and see what's going on. Oh, there's one right there. Just shoot as we back out. No reason to stay. Takes a hit and he backs out. All right, good. So when he started backing away, I pushed to see if I could get one more shot. I couldn't. But as he's moving, his dispersion is much larger, and if he wants to then sell out and come after me, he may get another shot from the 3045. So I've got the 3045 with me. The Hummel's being no use, unfortunately. I have the T-78, who is within draw distance, but that's really only helping us for somebody on the north side of this road. So that's the problem. We can isolate some guys over here, but he can't help us, and certainly the ARL can't help us because he's way up to the north. So we want to get rid of these guys if we can. We have to watch out for dudes in the back. There's a bush here that we can be shot at as well. That's the chess game piece. And now the question is, when can I move maybe to the north side and come up and over? When can I push down on the south side? We'll just have to try to find out where these guys are. Find the Su-100. Unfortunately, nobody has a shot. The Hummel, you know, I just wish he would have gone somewhere where he could do some work as an artillery. And that's just unfortunate what he's doing right there. So the Su-100 is hold down behind that little ridge. And now I'm starting to wonder, where is this KV-3? There he is. So the KV-3, and I didn't know what his hit points were either. Pretty low. That's good, but that's still 2 shots to me, as is the Su-100, potentially. So we've got the Hummel moving up. T-78 looking for shots. The 3485M sitting back on the tracks. And the ARL, interestingly, is pushing in. So I make a decision. I'm going to go around these guys if I can. Then we see the Type 64 out in the open there. The T-78 is trying to take him on, but he's not out from behind the building, and that is a bummer. Unfortunately, he's also killing the T-78, and I'm sort of committed. So what I'm hoping here is I can get away from the T-64 or the Type 64, but he absolutely hits me, and that is a massive bummer. I take a shot, don't get him, but I think he starts to get engaged by the ARL, who's come back around, got tracked, and now I'm thinking, oh, this is the end of that. Put a shot on him. There we go. Couple hits, couple bounces. We get at least one from the T-50-2, and I get a bit lucky here because they're not still firing. Also, the 39 has taken out the Type 64. So probably chess game-wise, it was a little bit of an early move for me to come around this corner. They've also managed to kill our 3485M, and I'm caught out. The Hummel's right there as well. What I do know, though, is the 39 is now on the other side there and should have draw distance in on these guys once he moves up. So I'm going to come up and try to get a shot. I can't quite get there. I see the Su-100 is moving around behind me, so I'm going to try to run away from him. What I want to do is get underneath this bridge over here. The Su-100 is pretty quick. He actually comes up and around pretty fast. I'm just hoping he misses here. I'm like, okay, I can take a hit if I have to. He misses. I find the T-50-2, which is what I wanted to do here. I'm just going to auto aim and just take a shot, and that works out. That was fantastic. Down he goes. And decision time. Do I go up and over on the south side here? I don't. I don't think so, because there's a KV-3. Potentially the Su-100 may have come back around, and this dude can't help me, the ARL. So I'm going to choose to just go around the other way. We'll just spin around this way. And I'm really hoping the Su-100 has charged hard, and I'm going to catch him out right here. Come around this way. I have the ARL backing me up. Okay, well, I find one of them. I find both of them. And that is a bummer. But the good news is I bounced KV-3. Thank goodness he's actually has the stock little gun. And I'm thinking, come on, ARL, kill one of these dudes. Here we go. He's making a runner. Another miss. And he gets one, and we're down just to the Su-100. So I'm going to head up this way. I'm looking to come up over top. And I think the 100 does a pretty good move here. I was worried that he might come hard charging around this corner, and I think that's exactly what he does. That surprised me a little bit. I am sort of watching, and then boom, there he is. So nice work on his part. Playing his chess game, came around the other way, but of course I've got the support of the ARL right here. So I know I'm going to take a big hit, and I do. Punch one into him. I'm just waiting for the reload, and down he goes. I was pretty sure I was going to out-reload the guy, and I did. So we get 3 kills, only 987, 795 assist. But that is a lot of the thought process late game. Some of it is reactive. Some of it is making an estimate of what's going to happen and then acting on that, and then, of course, reacting to what happens afterwards. But you can see the general flow here. If you're going to go from that 50% to that 55% player, is to learn how to play your tank really well. Learn the maps and the initial positioning, but then you've got to make solid chess move decisions from there. When I saw that we won the flank, I realized there was no point in pushing into them. There were still too many guns in the game. They had a pretty strong defensive position, and we were already having trouble in the northwest. All that equates to zero reason to push into their cap. Zero. And as you can see, we lost 3-4 tanks trying to do exactly that. And that is what the majority of players out there in this game will do. Because that's the only mindset is I go to a flank, I win, hey, I won the flank, let's keep pushing until we lose. Which is what they do. They lose. A lot of times that kind of player can get to 50, 52% if they're good at what they're doing. They always wonder why they can't get past that. It's because they're not making a dynamic decision, assessing what's going on in the match and changing what they're doing. So I came all the way back, helped take the guys out in the city, helped take the guys out in the city, and then looked at them and went, all right, where are we now? Now we're in the late game. We have 3-4 tanks on each side. What is the next chess move here? What would I expect the enemy to do? Well, I'm thinking they might come down the tracks. So let's roll back down. Guess what? They did. We found them down there on the tracks. A little bit of luck, a little bit of mistake on both sides, and eventually we're able to come out on this thing on top of it. But when it's a close game, that's what happens. You have to make those as solid a decision as you can and try to think about what they might do. Use the tanks you have around you to help you as best you can. Teamwork is a thing occasionally in pub matches, and do your best from there. So there you go. I hope that helps some of you guys kind of with the idea of what you're trying to do for a continuous flow in World of Tanks to get to that mid to late game and those solid decisions that are going to improve your win rate. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate your support. As always, we will see you.